course I'm going to do that. Of course. Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is quite the eventful, quite the eventful. I don't even know what the hell I just saw. We saw the funny happened again. The Chargers. What the fuck happened? What was that? We're going to be recapping this wild card weekend, and we're going to be doing some elimination rooms today. There's two teams that are going to be talking to the principal's office, and then we're going to preview the slate of games that are going to be happening today and tomorrow. But of course, I am never alone. I am joined by my coordinated crew of sickos that just severely enjoyed one of the most, the greatest things that we have ever witnessed in our, I don't even know what the hell I just saw. All I knew was I saw the funny and I laughed. Anyways, I am joined by... you guys can...
Car Sausage, the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Hayden, winner of the wild card round, Nanner fan, bang bang Nanner gang.
Neckman, enjoyer of a tank and enjoyer of wafting at fuck you Spanos.
Oh, yes.
And who the hell are you?
I am, of course, Luke. Also, I am the Mastora, the host of this gathering of glorious sickos. And let's, first of all, before we get into the funny, we have the unfunny game that happened.
Oh.
It happened. I'm eliminated. Oh, darn. Dun, dun, dun. Well, we're eliminated. It happened. Oh well, we have a top 5 pick. This is. It's the fact that the first half was very competitive. It was really good. I mean, scoring 17 points, I'm like, you know what? We watched going 2 and out for the first 2 times. That's fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing, it's fine. Niners get the ball back. We score. Seattle drives down the field. And then a game-changing fumble sealed their fate. They just kept making bad mistakes after bad mistakes. They could not dig themselves out of a hole that they dug themselves in. I'm not mad about it. It happened. It happened. We lost. I'm not so upset about it. The Niners are a really good team. The $1 million question is, what is Trey Lance going? Is Trey Lance going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? Still the $1 million question. I think Brock Purdy is good, but is he going to? A lot of questions the Niners will be asking, but for right now, they're going to enjoy the ride. GG, Aiden, good game. The game was getting a lot more competitive than I thought it could be. And if the game went as mistake-free football as it did in the first half, we were going to get one hell of a shootout. We would have gotten an all-time great game. But Seattle tripped over themselves.
All right, so a few things I want to say because, I'm my team won. First of all, Luke, I'm sorry. Sorry for beating you guys. Second of all, I'd like to say, a lot of Niner fans in the first half, they were like, oh my God, we are so done. This team can't go to the Super Bowl. Well, what were you guys saying when we just completely crush the Seahawks in the second half? Did you guys just keep quiet or did you guys just start cheering? I thought we were the Niner faithful. Maybe next time we should understand that this team's got a dog in it. We could be down by 7, could be down by 14, could be down by I don't care how much we're down. This team's got quality, man, and I believe in them from start to finish. Third question. Actually, third thing I want to say. I think this game really emphasized just how important momentum is. The Seahawks and the Niners, they were both battling each other blow for blow. And the Niners, when they took the lead, Seahawks were almost about to take it back, but then a fumble. A fumble changed the momentum of the game. A fumble basically took the wind out of the Seahawks' sails. And from then on, the Niners were like, you know what? We're going to choose violence. And number 4, remember that play that was done in Debo, a relatively controversial play? Well, I'm sorry, Seattle, but y'all messed up there. Angry Debo just... Ooh, when the Niners get angry, you just see what happens to teams after they face the Niners. They lose. The Niners are a team of violence. And finally, question about Lance. I think Lance and Purdy are going to have a hell of a quarterback battle. I am excited as a Niner fan. I mean, whether we win this season or not, I'm excited. Just really excited. And both of all, I'm happy. Bang Niner again. Anyone else?
Well,
You can go.
You first, Nick.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, 'cause y'all both basically summed up what happened pretty nicely, but yeah, definitely the turning point was really the turnovers really started to affect Seattle, but also as noted, like, one of the main reasons Seattle was leading at halftime was because they played a very clean game. They did not take any penalties. And once the second half started, once the Niners got the momentum rolling, it basically all went to hell for Seattle because you saw just how many penalties they were taking, everything. The floor just gave in from under them. So, but yeah, just Seahawks still gave a good fight. It's just the Niners were what we expect. They're the Niners, and they look like the team we've seen all season.
Yeah, that's about what I have to say. I guess I picked the Seahawks for a very dumb reason. Because I've seen a lot of Vikings teams that were on the same side the Seahawks were that managed to win in those games. Like most notably the 2004 Minnesota Vikings, who did not look good in the regular season, but somehow managed to provide a huge upset to the Green Bay Packers that season, even after a regular season sweep. But clearly this is a different looking Niners team, and as somebody who watched Brock Purdy and Iowa State, this game kind of proved to me maybe the NFL world screwed up by not trying to pick up Brock Purdy earlier. Very much like a Kirk Cousins. He's very much a Kirk Cousins that landed in the exact right scenario. Just probably best case scenario for a player. Personally, I would have been happy drafting him in like the 3rd or 4th round.
I want to add a couple things because there's a lot for the Seahawks offseason that we now have to look at. And there's certainly, without a doubt, a $1 million question. And that question is, what do the Seahawks do with Geno Smith? Now, I think Geno Smith has played himself into a contract for Seattle, fully guaranteed probably for the next 2 years. It's probably a fully guaranteed contract for the next 2 years. I wouldn't mind giving him 2 years guaranteed. I don't know how much money is, and I don't know what the rest of the term would be, but Geno Smith has earned at least 2 years as a Seahawks starting quarterback. He's played good, but the biggest thing that needs to be made, he's got these quarterbacks that blossom in their latter years, they have a very short shelf life. They do, right? I think the most recent examples of quarterbacks that blossomed in their latter years was Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I would have gone with either Rich Gannon or Gus Frerotte or Brad Johnson.
I picked Ryan Fitzpatrick because it's more of a recency. It's more recent. I think it's probably the most recent example. Ryan Fitzpatrick did blossom in his latter years. He had one solid year and then really couldn't figure it out, and then it kind of just collapsed in, and then just kind of collapsed. He became a solid backup quarterback, but that was it. So the shelf life is not big.
Maybe try and see what you have in Drew Lock.
No, there's nothing in Drew Lock. No. I don't.
Y'all started Drew Lock, it would have been a slaughter. I'm sorry.
I don't think Drew Lock's the right person to. I don't think it's Drew Lock. No. I don't think it's Drew Lock. It's not. I know the answer is, well, you want to see what you have in Drew Lock. No, his chance is gone. He's done. Drew Lock's not a starting quarterback. He doesn't fit Pete Carroll's philosophy where he likes quarterbacks that can play it safe. That's the kind of quarterback he wants, and that's what he mostly appreciated in Geno Smith. He appreciated how safe he played it. That's how he won the starting job. Drew Lock played it too recklessly, and because he played it too recklessly, he lost the job. And I don't think Drew Lock could be the backup for next year, but I think knowing Pete Carroll, he'll probably find a veteran backup that plays it safe. Because that's what Pete wants. He wants a guy that can play it safe. Now, the big thing for Geno, he did come out and recently say, y'all have seen what I can do this year. Just wait till you see what I have, a full season of off-season training, which means, translation, if Seattle is dedicated to me, I'm going to work my ass off this off-season, and just you wait. Just you wait to see what I can do next year with a full off-season workout. Just wait till you can. Just wait and see. Just wait and see what I can do with a full off-season workout. So that's kind of my sense on it. Seattle has 3 picks in the top 40. Lots of ammo. I trust John Schneider's evaluation of talent. They nailed this draft class this year. They're gonna get guys. They know what they're doing. I don't think they're taking a quarterback this year. They could, but I don't think they are. I think they're gonna commit to Geno Smith, and they're gonna rock. Let's rock with Geno and see what we can do to build a team around him. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. We'll see what happens. The big thing I'm praying. One second, I'm my ADD brain. One thing at a time. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping for Will Anderson Jr., but seeing how I'm seeing most mock drafts, I'm okay with taking the best offensive lineman in the draft too. That works. That works just fine. That'll work.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else to say about that. As you can see there, the Sacramento Bulls currently have a point, but that's besides the point. Haha.
Haha.
Also, one thing I gotta say about the Seahawks, I mean, manners aside, the NFC West seems pretty open. Like, the Seahawks, I mean, I'm sorry, but they're not going past the Niners next season. But, the Rams, I don't even know what they're going to do. The Cardinals are just a mess. So, I think the Seahawks might have a chance to, get another wild card, or even, if they can, upset the Niners, but that'll be tough.
Sean
McVay
is coming back. He's coming back. They've already confirmed he's coming back. He's right now changing his coaching staff right now. So he's 100% committed to. Was 100% committed to the Rams. Which, if you're a Rams fan, that's what exactly you want to hear. That is perfect. That's exactly what you want to hear. That's nothing else. That sounds like a coach who's gonna look through everything, upgrade his coaching staff, and get ready to attack the offseason with great haste.
They're gonna need to act quick because the Niners are the Niners, and the Seahawks, they seem threatening. The only team that I really wouldn't give any credit to is the Cardinals.
All right. Tyler still being out.
Yeah, the principal's office for this one's could be one hell of a ride.
And Tom Grossi looking like SpongeBob. That's nice.
Very true. Very true. And one thing to note for Seattle teams, I think if you're a fan of the teams, any teams in Pacific Northwest, holy shit, can they tear down something and build it up quickly? The Mariners have never been a bottom 5 team, even during their first stages of rebuilding. They start their first year rebuilding. They started off 11-3. Just don't ask about what happened the rest of the year. We didn't lose 100 games, but it's fine. The pandemic year, we thought they were going to be horrible. They're pretty competitive. Sure, 26 and 34 is not a winning record, but very competitive. This year, the year after that. Now this is the year where we're not quite there yet. One game away from the wild card. And this year, we have expectations to make the playoffs, and they've made playoffs. The Kraken, good God!
What happened where they're so good?
I cannot describe the Kraken right now. We thought they were gonna be bad. I thought they were still building a team. They were gonna continue to grow their prospect pool. Nope. We're ready to compete right now, and they're going to be looking to be buying at the deadline. They have a really good prospect pool of players to wheel and deal. So, we'll see what happens. Super interesting what the Kraken do this offseason. And the Seahawks, we sold our franchise quarterback, made the playoffs. No biggie. Seattle's fast at rebuilding stuff, so can't be too mad.
At this rate, Seattle's getting a basketball team.
I want to know how fast they can build a champion from a basketball team. I want to see how fast they can do that. I want to see how fast they can build a team now. Because it's been pretty quick. But I think the Pacific Northwest is in good hands in terms of sports teams, unless you're the Canucks. The fact that their I-5 rival has not only built a team, but has done it better and faster than the Canucks have ever had.
Yeah, just gonna say it. This is why you don't build around Barbecue Bruce.
No, Bruce Boudreau. No, the thing is, they foolishly thought they were going to be competitive this year when they should have just blown it up. Thatcher Demko's been out for a month now. Spencer Martin's good, but not good as a starting role. He's good in short moments, just not as a starting guy. They bought high, and they still have bad contracts.
I heard there was something that leaked apparently the Canucks are looking at I believe apparently there was something saying that they've been talking with Rick I know he's on TNT. I'm trying to pronounce his name. Rick Chet, I believe, the former Coyote. Pocket. Yeah, sorry, I can't pronounce shit. But yeah, apparently there's been rumors that apparently leaked that they're gonna be getting rid of Bruce soon for him. Which, yeah. So yeah, if the Canucks needed more drama, that's a great way to throw gasoline on it.
Oh man, they're really gonna. Because here's the thing: this organization is just stupid. They should have blown it up. I think Bruce Boudreau's a great coach. He knows how to get the very best in players, but the Canucks responded to him the same way they responded to Travis Green now. That's my biggest concern. They're responding the same way they did to Travis Green. So, I don't get it. Bruce Boudreau had them on the right course. They had them believing that, holy shit, we could make the playoffs next year. They should have sold at the deadline. They should have sold JT Miller. That would have fetched them a haul. They should have sold Bo Horvat. They should have not done, I don't know, like spending getting a second round pick on Riley Stillman, who's not been good. He's not been good this year. So
What you were saying. So what you were saying is basically this has become, considering how the Canucks did with their past coach and how they are doing with their current coach, is definitely you get the feeling it's a lot more with the team than the actual coach.
yeah, it's the team. It's a lot of bad contracts. They're doing the exact same thing that Jim Benning did. This offseason, they did the exact same thing that Jim Benning did. They don't have the cap space. The cap's not going up. They know they're not going to keep Horvat. Horvat's gone at the deadline. There's a good debate on Kuzmenko going away, which, you know, if you sell Kuzmenko, he's young and cheap right now. You know, they've got a lot of guys that they're probably going to completely trade away. They still have albatrosses of a contract. You still have Olivier Ekman-Larsson. It's a horrible deal. He has the most minutes. Horrible deal. Tyler Myers. That's another horrible deal. I don't know what you do if you're the Canucks. That should have been the tanking year because, you know, local boy, Connor Bedard. You had all the reason to completely bottom your whole team out. But no, they've learned nothing. They will still learn nothing as long as Francesco Aquilini owns this team. They're not gonna learn a single thing. They've been trying to and this is the best comparison. The Boston Bruins have been able to tear down and rebuild their team much faster than the Canucks have ever had. They're still rebuilding from the Sedin days. And they haven't stopped.
You know, there's one thing I gotta say about the Canucks. The only bright spot is that they share a division with Anaheim and San Jose.
Yeah, it
Although
is.
given how, I mean, that's the only bright spot. But given how there's, you know, Bedard, would you really like to see Bedard in San Jose teal or in Anaheim's weird gold-orange uniforms?
It's okay. Gary Bettman has already told us he's going to Arizona.
I can't wait.
Or Chicago.
I can't wait for future Golden Knight Bo Horvat.
Captain Bo's good.
Alright.
Bo's a good guy. So on a team, he's gonna cost you like your best prospect and a first, and maybe another first.
I don't even know if we're actually trading from. I'm just making the freaking Golden Knights trade for everyone joke.
Anyway, is it time?
It's time for the
Talk
funny.
about the funny?
Oh yeah,
The funny.
let's do it.
Oh.
All right. Who's gonna say it?
My
Who's gonna say the meme?
God.
What happened?
The fuck? I don't even know what happened. It's a what the hell? My only thing to say is, you know, the Chargers kicked the Jackson when this is the commercial that plays when Jacksonville kicked the field goal to win the game. Right there after Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Tripper, Whopper, Impossible Whopper, Bacon Whopper. I rule this day at BK. Have it your way. You rule!
We apologize for that. We sincerely do.
Oh, of course
We are not. However, we are not here for. We are not. We are not forced to do compensation if you rip your ears off after hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry, we don't make the rules. We just enforce them. We just enforce them. But seriously, though, what happened? What happened?
Brandon Staley, man, just it seems like he's so like enamored with statistics and just like, yo, the fucking statistics say I should do this or do that, and you know, they're always the wrong decision. Like, how does he do it?
It's not even that I don't think it feels like Bill O'Brien-esque shenanigans. It really does. You're
Okay,
up.
so it feels like 24-0 again.
It feels more like 24-0.
Oh, boy.
It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like 28-3. This feels more like 24-0.
It feels like it encapsulates. This is something that, like, you know, this is felt coming. It's so inevitable, but like this is something that really sums up this team, like 24-0 did with the Bill O'Brien Texans.
Well, Brandon's, Brandon's a good defensive coordinator from what I've seen, but like,
I mean, he's a great DC, but like, yeah, I feel like he is not broken. It feels like his coaching tenure has been cursed ever since he made the decision to go for it on 4th down at like his own 20-yard line last season against the Raiders. That's when I think everyone noticed, okay, this dude really does not have good IQ.
it's like
nope.
being coached by PFF.
Yeah, it's like they are literally being coached by a robot, literally.
It reminds me a lot of the 2016-17 Florida Panthers, where they went all in on this, cultural identity shift, where everything went from, standard hockey to being like, oh, clearly what we need to do is we need to follow the numbers and see what these numbers have to say about who's a good player and who isn't. And, it's all about the analytics. That's why they hired a guy like why they hired a coach like Tom Rowe instead of keeping Gerard Gallant, and they had people like Keith Yandel and Alexander Barkov, who were just like, they had really good numbers on the stat sheet, but they absolutely failed the eye test.
But what my thing is one thing is the big difference between this game is like the biggest comparison I can make was Browns and Steelers in 2020. But the big difference is the Browns kept their foot on the pedal. They kept going. They didn't stop. They kept their foot on the gas pedal and they kept momentum. They won the game. Sure, Pittsburgh scored a lot of points, but it didn't really matter at the end because they still won the game. I don't get how when you're so enamored with analytics, do you ever just think for a second that maybe the obvious thing to do is just keep the momentum and keep scoring points, right? It's in the second, you're up 27-0, and many times, just similar to the Colts, you didn't capitalize on turnovers. Sure, you got field goals, but those aren't touchdowns.
Josco said they did the same thing with the Yotes. Yeah, remember that time? You know, the
Oh yeah, but the thing
was one
is, I really feel like it's. How would one argue that with the Coyotes, it was more they were never 100% sure. They did a lot with analytics, but it just never anything never they never made anything out of it. I don't think they're even close to competing. They're still a rebuilding team that was skimming the cap ceiling, not the floor, the ceiling. But they thought, again, well, you could be right with thinking like analytically too, that maybe you're better than you think you are. But when the answer is no, not really. And the thing is, how many times have we seen things where, usually on paper, it's good, but in reality, not so good?
I just think, like, honestly, with this Chargers team, it's like, it's also worth noting how the Chargers made moves this offseason, getting guys like Khalil Mack, for example. Like, this was a better team, and on paper, a better team than last season. Yes, they did make the playoffs, unlike last season, but to be honest, they looked less impressive this season than they did last season. And to be honest, Staley somehow managed to make himself look like an even more idiot, even despite having technically a better season. But of course, then tonight happens where they basically just crap themselves in the most Chargers fashion possible, and it really is a great summary of basically everything wrong with the Chargers right now, and basically a reason for everyone to say, yeah, fire Staley.
I'm just gonna say it, not just the Chargers, but the AFC West as a whole. Like you could make the same argument that for the Denver Broncos or the Las Vegas Raiders, and if you really want to get bold and controversial, you could say the same thing about the Kansas City Chiefs, because as much as they are the number one seed, I just don't think they're that impressive of a team as they were last year.
I watched Barry McHawkiner's recaps, and the one thing that I always stuck out to me was how long it took for Justin Herbert just to get a winning record. And after chance that he's had to get a winning record, he's never had a winning record until very late last year. So I don't know what you do if you are the Chargers. But I think the answer is you should be firing Staley. There's no way you give him another year, because this isn't the first time where he's used analytics that have completely cost his team a win. Thursday Night Football last year versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You know how many times he went for it on 4th down and didn't get it? That led to Kansas City scoring multiple times. It was like I think they're like 0 for 4, and every time they didn't get it, Kansas City just had a shorter field, and they marched in and scored a touchdown.
And here's something I haven't heard a lot of people talking about, but like, what are we gonna talk about? Like Tom Telesco being fired.
The GM?
Yeah, the GM. It kind of seems like he hasn't been making great decisions either.
The GM is probably given one more year. I think the GM is given another year.
If he gets Peyton, then he'll get more time, obviously.
Yeah.
Telesco brings up a pretty good point. He says fire Staley and hire Adam Gase.
I would love to see that just for the chaos.
That is exactly the sicko recommendation that I would easily pick. Oh, that is no doubt. I would absolutely love that move because it's the funny. I think if you are the LA Chargers, so much you have to look at. There's so much you have to look at, right? Because you could say Staley's a bit of a hack, and you'd be right, but they've had winning records. They've got a very good roster on this team. I think because what Staley has done, it's going to be really difficult to fire him. Like, believe me, if they wanted to fire him, Ian Rappaport, Adam Scheffner is going to break the news. It's going to be announced the next day. If it's not announced the next day, he's sticking around. Even with a legendary coach in Sean Payton. And even then, I think Sean Payton's still very overrated as a head coach. There were so many years they went 7-9, where Drew Brees had Pro Bowl seasons, and they still went 7-9. It wasn't until they had a great draft class that they were finally a playoff team.
I will
And
say
guess
this
who knocked them out twice?
Yeah, we know.
Vikings, baby.
I'm just gonna say though, regarding those Saints teams, yeah, I feel like Sean could have done a better job, obviously, but also doesn't help at the time when you also have probably one of the worst defensive coordinators in NFL history in Rob Ryan as your freaking defensive coordinator.
No,
that will not help you.
Rob Ryan's their D coordinator.
He was back in those mid 2010s days.
Oh, okay.
From like 2013 to 2015, he was their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, it's just, I will say this though with that, and I will say this, I do agree with that, I do agree with those points about Sean, but at the same time, a reason to like him though is the fact that, look at how the Saints did this season without him as coach. They look like a freaking mess.
I don't know, I'll always have my qualms with Sean Payton for very obvious reasons relating to the 2009 NFL season.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's Bounty
the
Gate.
scandal. The scandal.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and let me add one thing about Brandon Staley. Like, I read somewhere from a tweet by 5 Points Vids. I'm sure some of y'all know him. So he says that Staley would be a great GM because he understands, like, the numbers, analytics, but he wouldn't be a good coach because when it comes to like decision making in game situations, he really ain't it. Like, he might work better in a front office job, I guess, but not as a coach. Maybe a DC, but not a head coach.
I think Staley would be more of an analytical, would be probably part of any front office. I'd keep him for front office. Or like I would hire him as like a front office because that's what the front office is for. They're analytically driven.
Now, I will say this though, I have something for the Chargers they have to listen to. They have to listen to this.
Los Angeles Dodgers, what happened and how to Jacksonville Jaguars, Dodgers,
Oh my god.
Jaguars?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Y'all are gonna be
Thanks,
listening
draws
to
us
this
back.
the entire offseason, Chargers fans.
What happened?
You should just go to St. Louis and save yourself the embarrassment, eh?
By the
Or
way, can I
expand to
just
the
say
Southeast
this?
Asian market. Go to Manila.
Oh, and if there's any other reason for Staley to get canned, yeah, Mike Williams says hi.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that could have saved the game. If they had Mike Williams.
If they had Mike Williams, they win
Yeah.
this game. Literally, even if they make it a closer game, like they still would have won that game if they had Mike Williams.
Oh my god.
I don't think they do.
I mean, dude, Mike Williams is one quite possibly their best receiver.
You're
But,
absolutely
like,
right. You're absolutely right.
It's just, but it's also worth noting how it happened. Like, he should not even been playing last week when the injury happened. It's like that's just another reason for Staley to get canned.
Yeah, they already reached the playoffs. There was like no benefit for the seeding. Like,
It's like,
Yeah.
look, when I saw them lost to the Broncos last week, it's like, yeah, they are going one and done.
Yeah, so far the Sean McVay tree has not worked out very well, except for a few people like Matt LaFleur, maybe Kevin O'Connell.
I mean, the one thing that is something that is very important. Who's ever had a good coaching tree? There's one or two guys, but most guys that you ever pluck from a good head coach, they never work out. And as Colin Cowherd has always said, some people are just meant to be coordinators. I think it's the same that could ever be more true. I think some people are just meant to be coordinators.
I can't believe we're actually agreeing with Colin Cowherd. I think I'm gonna be sick.
I know Colin Cowherd's like one of them, sometimes a big fucking idiot, but he's right on a lot of things, and when he's wrong, he admits that he's wrong. But so what? He moves on. I think
biggest legend Colin Cowherd.
Yeah, I probably listen to Colin Cowherd more than any talking host just that does any major networks. But Colin is right. He's exactly right on so many things.
Yeah, unless of course some big wig from like ESPN or Vice Media wants to give us a shot, in which case
I wouldn't mind doing radio for the great city of Grand Rapids, but you're dragging the three of us there too.
Yeah, but I just want to answer this question. What the fuck are you supposed to do if you're the Saints? If you're the Saints, I just say blow it up and try and escape from cap hell. That's the least you can do.
Yeah, their window's shut.
My only other thing is a blockbuster trade. I think it's going to be one weird trade, but if you're the Saints, you can escape cap hell. Do you know what I knew has a lot of cap?
The Bears.
The Bears. Do you want to? It's going to cost you a great deal of your excellent players, but that's exactly what the Bears need. I think the Saints can make an interesting case for trading for the first overall pick. I don't think it's gonna work, but it's worth the shot. You are in cap hell, but you get out of cap hell, you got to trade the good majority of your players. And if you can trade a good majority of your players to dig yourself out of cap hell to a team who just needs guys at this point, why not pull up a side and ask?
Not to mention, they have the first overall. Wink, wink.
Yeah, wink, wink.
You could move on from guys like Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston.
You're gonna be trading a lot of your future first for this one, and I don't even know if the Bears even accept your trade to begin with. But I think they have a lot of ammo to give something really interesting, because Chicago just needs guys.
I'll just say this though: you got outbid the Colts.
They do. Because I think all the Colts have to offer is Quentin Nelson and Terang Armstead.
Oh yeah, and apparently Michael Pittman, but yeah, there's been rumors just exploding that the Colts they're already talking to the Bears and stuff about trading up.
It'd be the worst thing, it'd be the stupidest thing for the Colts, because that quarterback is gonna be Andrew Luck again.
Yeah, very likely.
They're not gonna have any pieces to do it. They shouldn't do it. There are 3 quarterbacks in this draft class that you can draft. And the thing is, they can sit there. Let some other idiot trade up. They should be the one team that shouldn't trade up. Because why? Bears are not going to get a quarterback. Cardinals are not going to get a quarterback. You at least get CJ Stroud, and you get to keep your guys that you don't even have to replace. Because you're going to have to pay a massive king's ransom for it. And the only other way that I'd see somebody trying to do it is, again, the owner saying, we need a quarterback. We need to send everything. When literally you're going to put him in the exact same position that Andrew Luck was in. Break the cycle. Break the cycle.
Speaking of the Bears and Cardinals, I think they're about to make an announcement.
Yes. Could the Arizona Cardinals please come to the principal's office? Thank you.
Attention, Chicago Bears and Arizona Cardinals to the principal's office. Chicago Bears and Arizona Cardinals to the principal's office. Thank you.
Very throwback. Does that ever bring me back? All right, first up, let me see what I have on my clipboard sheet. Yes, the Chicago Bears. You're here again? All right, well, sit right over there. The principals will be with you in a minute. In a minute. Whew. All right, thank you, the Chicago Bears. First over, let's see what we have here. A 3-14 record. The tank of all tanks. A big question mark this offseason. What do you do? Is it Justin Fields or the first overall pick? The Chicago Bears season. I'd err on the side of caution, big time.
Is it fair to call this season a collapse because they started at 2-1 and then they just kind of went down from there?
I don't even
All
know
right,
if you
time for the-
call it a
time for-
collapse.
It's time for the Bears fan to cook here.
Yeah, let's let the Bears fan talk to our student here.
Okay, so it started 2-1. Things looked a bit promising. Granted, it was very ugly how you won those two games. Then you started to really shit yourselves multiple times, but then you won that game against New England on Monday Night Football, which granted that was an extremely impressive win, which for the time being kept Bill Belichick from taking the all-time coaching, having the all-time record for most coaching wins. But then the Bears decided, okay, you know what? We're gonna make it. The Bears knew, y'all knew, you had to make a decision. Do we try and make a push, maybe a playoff push that could land us in mediocrity and just being stuck in the middle of nowhere, or do we consider launching the nukes? And they made some moves, trading away Robert Quinn to the Eagles, trading away Roquan Smith to the Ravens. And in hindsight, that was the best move y'all could have made because of how badly the injury gods would kill us in the second half of the season, which was part of the reason why we collapsed so badly. But I will say this about the Bears, even with how bad their record looks, they showed, even in a lot of these games, they showed a lot of fight this season. That's, as someone who is a Bears fan, that's something that I was really just looking for in terms of this season. I knew we were gonna suck. I knew this was gonna be a rough season. I wasn't expecting the record to be as it was, but considering the context, considering all the injuries we were suffering, all just us on defense, O-line, receivers. I mean, for God's sake, Fields is working with basically what other teams would view as fourth or fifth stringers with receivers by the end of the season. And to the point where it got so bad with injuries that freaking Nathan Peterman was starting games for us. But at the same time, we won the first overall pick. We have infinite amount of cap space, and the vibes for the Bears are definitely, even with what the record is, it's the best it's been in a while.
Yeah, and you guys have a new president. How exciting.
Yeah. I mean, literally the vibes that are the best they've been ever since the moments before the infamous kick that shall not be named happened.
Yeah,
And besides, y'all got a quarterback. Y'all got a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, and I want to say this about the whole quarterback discussion. All the talk about how Justin Fields, they should draft Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. They should trade Justin Fields away. Look at this. He can't throw. He's a running back. You are playing with a running back as quarterback, and it's like, Okay, seriously, I am not gonna sit here for an entire offseason and have to hear these garbage ass takes about Justin Fields, considering what he was having to work with, the fact that he took a jump this season, and as I already mentioned, with what he was having to work with, his receivers were injured, his O line was injured as hell, and basically only has two productive guys in Tevin Jenkins and Braxton Jones. Like literally, it's like, okay, give this man some weapons, give this man protection, build the trenches around him, and I'm telling you, he's gonna take the Josh Allen leap.
Yeah, because I've been calling him like football Shohei Ohtani for the better part of this year, because he puts up these amazing stats, but he just doesn't have the team around him due to incompetent ownership to really win any games.
Yeah, and I'll just say, like, in terms of how does the team around him actually look? Well, I will say this. Running backs is probably our best position in terms of like stuff outside of quarterback, given Khalil Herbert is a beast, and considering what our offseason plans will probably look like, I think it'd be in our best. If we're not going to get anyone like a Josh Jacobs or anything, re-signing David Montgomery would be massive. Like that is the correct decision to make, and it feels like that will probably happen. Receivers, I mean, yeah, the Claypool trade has not worked out so far, but I mean, I'd be fine with him. I mean, I'll give him a full season next year. Darnell Mooney's a beast, but injuries took him out this season. But I want him to be our number 2 next season. Hopefully, we can trade for a number 1, particularly a certain receiver from Arizona.
I interest you in an Adam Thielen.
I mean, honestly,
You're not trading.
honestly, that
Thielen
wouldn't be the worst trade. I mean, actually,
It'd
that
be a
wouldn't
good
be the
trade,
worst
but
trade.
you're
To be
not
honest.
trading somebody to a division rival.
Yeah,
Ask that to
I
TJ
mean-
Hawkinson.
I know it's because the
Yeah.
Lions are the Lions.
Well, yeah, the Lions, literally, the Lions and the Vikings are they have a master plan together, according to Tom Grossi. And
yeah,
that's certainly not a biased source.
yeah.
Certainly not biased at all.
But,
I
like,
have
I
to
mean-
agree with that. I
I
have
mean,
to
but yeah.
absolutely agree with that.
But yeah, looking at other stuff, just like, yeah, Cole Kmet honestly had a breakout season as like a tight end and stuff. He had a strong season, so he should be coming back. And I feel like our main needs for this off season are obviously O-line, receiver, and most importantly, considering how bad it was in the second half, please rebuild the front line. Rebuild the defensive line. It needs an entire overhaul.
I want to say a couple things with the Bears. Because this is a franchise. I remember what they said this year. Players that we did not from new front office. They said players that we did not draft, we got no loyalty towards. We saw, of course, the big one was Roquan Smith. He got paid $20 million a year in Baltimore. That trade for Baltimore has worked out wonderfully for them. I just can't sit back, help but wonder, from this current front office saying that we have no loyalty towards players we didn't draft. It gets me thinking that Justin Fields is absolutely on the table until the day of the announcement that says the Chicago Bears have traded the first round pick to Team X. Then I will fully believe that Justin Fields is there. But until they announce that trade, Justin Fields is on the table. They're gonna have a lot of discussions about it. That's my.
I'll just say.
Sorry.
I will say though, and yeah, they did say that before the season and stuff. However, recent comments from the master plan of the tank himself, Ryan Poles, have basically said like, yeah, I gotta find it, but yeah, he's more than impressed by Justin Fields. Now, of course, some will take it as saying, well, he might be trying to amp up his trade value, which I mean, it's like, that's actually a good way to do it. I mean, I don't think he needs more hyped up. He doesn't need to be more hyped up than he already is. But like at the same time, I feel like they can. my thing from the front office is I feel like they understand. Okay, yeah, like this guy did well what we gave him. We might as well let's just build around. We ought to be best off just building around just.
But my thing is, if you trade Justin Fields, you're resetting your quarterback, right? Because you could get a very good haul for a young rookie quarterback that has more loyalty toward that the GM has more loyalty towards. And if you get a better offer for Justin Fields than you do for the first overall pick, do you just trade Fields away?
I don't know, like, here's the thing, it's like, look, I feel like with what here's the thing, like, the Bears are at a point where you do not need, like, we have a quarterback in place already that's shown enough promise, that at least has taken enough jump in his second season to where we can look at other issues and say, yeah, let's address that stuff. Like, we have a lot of issues to address, let's address all of that before even considering, you know, the quarterback issue, which honestly really shouldn't be an issue. And here's the thing, like the only way we would take a quarterback is if Ryan Poles is absolutely blown away to take a quarterback at number 1.
Yeah, although I will say, you know, I have heard the story before of
I know Josh Rosen.
Yep,
Josh Rosen,
Cliff Kingsbury, and Steve Keim.
I
Which
think they've more just completely mishandled that. Whereas we saw how good Justin Fields was this year.
Let me say this. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. There's two things to note with that, though. Number one, the Cardinals were bringing in a new coach. The Bears are keeping the same front office and same coach that Fields worked with this season. And number two, Fields showed a lot more promise than Josh Rosen did. And I know it's Rosen's first season, so might be comparing apples to oranges, but at the same time.
All right, true. Although, speaking of the Cardinals, let's talk about the Cardinals.
Well, I'm not quite done with the Bears quite yet, because I want to air back, because you Spencer, you did bring up a very good point. It's to me with it, right? The sooner the Bears make a decision on what they want to do, the better. I think the sooner the better, because if it's a week before the draft and they still haven't decided between Justin Fields or the first overall pick, and we're at their pro days, I'm not sold yet. No, however, let's say the Bears don't show up to CJ Stroud or Bryce Young's pro day. will be very, very convinced that they're sold on that they want Justin Fields to be their guy. But if they're there,
I'll just say though, like, it could also be a good plot though in order to increase the trade value for the number one pick, which we've already seen. I've already mentioned it earlier about the Colts calling about the Bears and stuff. It's like, yeah, there is already a lot of interest in that number one pick, and we're not even into the off season yet.
Yeah.
We're still in playoff mode, baby.
Yeah.
We're still. It's lots of discussions are happening right now, and they have a lot of decisions to make. But if the Bears will let us know. They're gonna be doing something like in the off season, where I think the best example is that they still haven't found a trade partner for either, and it's the pro day for Bryce Young, CJ Stroud. I'll add Hendon Hooker in there. My brain's gonna be like, they're sold on Fields. Fields is their guy. That will show me management is confident in Fields, because if you're not gonna go to the pro days, what is that? As a fan, what does that tell you, Nick? What would that tell you?
Like them not going to like pro days and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that would obviously if they don't go to stuff like the freaking Stroud or Young pro days, it's like, well, yeah, that tells me all I need to know, all I already know, and all I'm expecting to like have knowledge of already.
because at the end of the day, they've said it that we've heard it this offseason. They don't have loyalty to guys that they didn't draft. And at the end of the day, this is a team that's still owned by the McCaskies. So who knows if they're even, and they have the most cap space, but who knows if they're going to even use it.
Are they going to use it?
I know though. They'll at least use some of it. Okay, they'll at least use some. I know.
Are they going to leave like 40 million left over? Are they going to use, like, I don't think they can use all of it, but if they use at least 100 million of that cap space they have there, I think it's a good solid number. But if it's like 50 million, your ownership group is still the McCaskies. What the hell are you trying to save money for? Like, you have the hull to make yourselves a playoff team next year. Justin Fields' upside is, I see him willing this team to the playoff spots. I remember them.
I remember the Indianapolis Colts had the exact same kind of situation back in 2019. They had gobs and gobs of cap space to build around Andrew Luck, and they didn't do anything except they signed Devin Funchess to a really cheap contract.
I understood why at the time though too, because they wanted to they not to use all of it, because you still had Quentin Nelson to sign, you still had the linebacker to sign.
No, they were already signed. They were on
they were not signed. Deals. They were on the rookie deals. They were not signed to long term.
2019. It was.
They weren't signed until 2020. They weren't signed.
Oh.
They weren't signed until the year after.
Either way, you know.
But yes, the point. I see more of them saving the cap for their team because the cap went down because of the pandemic. So which is why they wanted to save, just make sure they still got their guys. But yes, you absolutely are. I do agree with you. They had cap space, but didn't really do much with it. But the difference is with the Chicago Bears, in context-wise, they desperately need guys.
Oh, yeah, we do. And also, we're not, like, the thing is, Colts were, at that point, like, the Colts were playoffs. They were in the playoffs and stuff. We're not. We're in the bottom.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with this offseason. Bears got a lot of work to do. The GMs will be very busy.
And now it's time to talk about the retirement home.
Yep. The sooner you make the decision with your offseason, I think the better it is for Bears fans. Now get back to class. You've got a lot of studying to do. I don't want to see you back here next year. I don't want to see you in my office again. Alright, let's see. Who do we got next? Yes. The Arizona Cardinals. You guys were a playoff team last year. You made the playoffs. I didn't have to see you in my office, though. You had Kyler Murray. You extended... You know, I think whenever you have your coach and GM extended... That shows you got a lot of confidence in them. And oh, good lord, you chased them away. They're gone.
You didn't see us in the principal's office because this podcast didn't exist last year. You
shut up. You existed in our hearts. Anyways. Oh my lord. Your quarterback tore its ACL? Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Oh.
So. Yeah.
The biggest knock of anything you just said about the Cardinals was said after week 1. Their game prep was bad. So why the fuck didn't you fix it?
You know it's bad when this offseason people were more optimistic about the Lions than they were about the Cardinals.
I had them having a better record. That's true. That's literally true.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. baffled at the Cardinals. Right? You signed Kyler Murray. I bet you his agent leaked the study clause in his contract because they knew it would get one hell of a reaction from people. It needed to be there. There are reasons why they put the study clause in that contract. There are reasons why they did it because they flat out told us Kyler Murray can't prepare for shits.
They're the 90s Cowboys without the hardware.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way that this team that has got a franchise quarterback, great defensive pieces, right? Has made at least gotten a coach playoff experience. You know, you added Marquise Brown. And still you tell me you guys went 4-13? Their wins when they had Kyler Murray on that team was doing what every young quarterback loves to do. Do what they did in college. Force the play to break down so you could play hero ball. That's what Kyler did. That's how he beat the Raiders. He forced the play to break down so that way he could lead the drive play hero ball basically, and NFL teams know how to pick that off. It might work for a team that doesn't have a really good coach. I'm looking at you, Josh McDaniels. But once enough people see it, they know what's going on. They know what's happening. I'm baffled by it.
You don't get it, bro. He coached Mahomes in college. Oh, he's gonna turn Kyler Murray into Patrick Mahomes. He coached Mahomes in college.
Never forget. Let's never forget this. The fact that Kingsbury was hired by the Cardinals a season after he went 5-7 at Texas Tech. This is a guy who went 5-7 at the college level, and a literal professional franchise thought, this guy could make a good coach in the NFL.
And the warning signs are already there. First season, I guess he sucked, but it was his first season. Second season, good first half, then he blew it in the playoffs. Third season.
2020, he didn't even make the playoffs.
Oh wait, never mind. He blew it. He blew it before he almost made the playoffs, but he blew it by mistake. And then in 2021, he made the playoffs finally. And what happened? It wasn't even there. Got smothered by the Rams. And now,
Bitch slapped.
and now, he didn't even wait for the freaking playoff or the second half to collapse. He just collapsed.
And now Cliff's not even in the country.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna say this as someone who's watched the Cardinals twice, play his team twice as a division rival. I'm gonna say this with a lot of Schadenfreude. When the Cardinals faced off against the Niners in Mexico City, I was like, holy crap! How bad is this team? How did Kyler bail this sorry bunch of losers out? Oh my God, this team is just freaking awful. I'm sorry. JJ Watt did not deserve to retire in this pile of dung. He deserved to retire champion. To think that one of the NFL's greats retired with this shit heap makes me sad. Even as a division rival.
He's not the first guy to retire like that in Arizona. Just ask Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith?
Jeez,
Or
Emmitt Smith.
There's a long list of players that have ended their careers in Arizona as a total dud. They're not called the retirement home for a reason.
Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald, and apparently AJ Green.
But I'd add AJ Green, but at least Kurt Warner won a Super Bowl. And at least made a Super Bowl with the Cardinals.
That's true.
His career's no. Larry Fitzgerald had his whole career wasted. He's number 2 in the NFL in receiving yards. His career was wasted in Arizona. He stuck through with them time and time again. Right? And again, a lot of their issues, we know what their issues are. It stemmed back to week 1, where it's, we need to have better game prep. You said that week 1. So why didn't it change?
You know who else was saying that? Patrick Peterson, the former Cardinal, said that after he chose to celebrate getting an interception against Kyler Murray by pretending to play Call of Duty on the field. Which, you know, when you have a former player talking shit and they back up what they're saying, that's an indictment on pretty much your whole franchise. Like, I'm sorry, but even back to like the 1890s, the Cardinals have been like poverty.
All I can say is this: Michael Bidwill, you are so lucky that Dan Snyder and Dean Spanos exist. Otherwise, you would be considered the worst owner in the NFL.
The Cardinals
you're so lucky.
The Cardinals are a bottom-feeding franchise. This is how franchises stay bad. They should have kept that study clause in his contract, because you know who could have really should have been studying game film? So, you know, you can mesh well with new receivers like Marquise Brown and Robbie Anderson.
Kyler Murray.
Yosko reminded me, I completely forgot that Robbie Anderson went to Arizona. I forgot they actually traded him there. That's how bad that's how bad of an acquisition
Robbie
was.
ran himself.
I
forgot.
Ran himself out of Carolina.
Yeah, they got him. They traded him for like a 3rd or a 5th. But like,
let me see. They traded him for a 6th rounder in 2024 and a 7th rounder in 2025.
That's pennies.
But that is so worth it for Carolina, because if he plays this bad, like to the point where he's forgotten, like,
it's not that bad. It's a 6th and 7th. That's pennies. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's like pennies on the dollar. If it was like a 4th or a 3rd, then I'd be pissing myself. But no, it's just for a 6th and 7th. That's not bad.
True.
That's not.
But but a 7th could be a quarterback, like the time that Isaiah Wilson trade that ended up getting
that was
the
funny.
Dolphins Skylar Thompson.
See, and they say those trades could happen, but they don't happen that. Well, actually, you know what? They're gonna happen more often now. And GMs are getting younger and younger. They have learned a lot of stuff, and the exciting thing is, give it 10, 15 years, there are gonna be NFL trade trees. There's already one that's still being worked on. It's the I'm trying to think of English words right now. I can't English good.
Try putting it in Canadian.
Shut up. I'm trying to. My brain is.
Seriously, though, what language is Canadian?
Shut up. Right. The trade tree for the when the Houston Texans bought
Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah, Laramie Tunsil.
Actually, that trade tree, I believe,
it's not
ended.
Done. It's still growing.
Oh yeah, because of Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, but the Broncos have that pick. It's gonna end, but that's a huge trade tree that's suspended over 3 years.
But keep in mind, even though it may seem like it's over, it may not be over.
Easily, the Broncos could trade down that 1st round, which sprouts more and more and more. Who knows? Unless the Broncos
More branches.
who knows? Or the Broncos could just use it. But the fact that Laramie Tunsil trade has given the Niners a franchise quarterback, it has given the Miami Dolphins a playoff contending team, and they also managed to buy an elite edge rusher. It's done wonders, and we're going to see a lot more of these trade trees down the line.
Yeah, and I mean, not to bring it back to the Vikings, but also I think the T.J. Hawkinson trade has worked out well as well.
Yeah, it has worked out for them.
They've done well.
Good job, Kwesi, Adolfo Mensa.
I don't know what you do if you're the Cardinals, but if I'm them, you're hiring a coach that gets in the face of Kyler Murray. You need to. You have to.
I wonder though, if you're if you're a coaching candidate, and considering me making the prediction that there will probably be maybe 1 or 2 more spots opening, you can imagine what those spots are. What top candidate really wants to go to the Cardinals? That's my question.
Oh, they have an opening at general manager as well. How exciting!
Well,
yeah, they do.
Well, the thing that me believes is any coordinator is going to take a head coaching job. Doesn't matter where. It's what most coordinators and coaches have been working from since they've been positional coaches. They all want to coach. And being a coach of a franchise, it's like your team. No matter what. It's a team that you have a lot of control over. And you're going to be, especially when it's a coach and a GM being hired the same year, that's a pretty attractive spot. If you get a GM who knows the coach that wants an opportunity, you're going to go after him. Because he's going to be your guy. And your guy who's been grinding in the coordinator ranks for years gets his shot. Being a coach is one of the hardest things in the NFL, but it's what so many coordinators work towards.
I mean, look at Kevin Stefanski with eventually the Cleveland Browns. He had been marinating with the Minnesota Vikings since 2005.
Well, it's not that. Look, think of how many African American coaches in the NFL get passed up because of the color of their skin. As much as we like to say we're making strides, there are still a lot of things that still need to be done, and I think a lot of them don't get that opportunity.
I want to say this though, the Rooney Rule, I feel like the Rooney Rule, even though it has helped to increase the number of more diversity in terms of coaches and stuff. It's a really messed up rule. There's just so much stupid shit that comes with that rule.
I don't agree
especially with how the coaches get treated.
I don't disagree with the Rooney Rule in theory, but in practice, it's like way too. It doesn't like. It really just.
It makes placeholders.
Too many people abuse it.
It's not permanent. That's the thing. It's not a permanent thing. It's just it can be used as basically just a placeholder thing, just to get short-term benefits.
Look at what
like
the
that's what teams do.
Did. Dennis Coley, Lovie Smith. We know their coach next year is Josh McCown. They're gonna say it's gonna be a long and intrusive search. Just say it's Josh McCown already. We know that's what they want to go for, but they went with Lovie Smith because of the Rooney Rule, and it would make the NFL look really bad. The only successful African American head coach right now is
Mike Tomlin.
That's it.
Exactly.
That's it.
When
you're saying the Cardinals' job, it's so unattractive for coaches. There are persons of color that are grinding their asses off in the coordinator ranks to get that opportunity. You don't think Steve Wilkes wants another shot as a head coach after he's been unfairly treated in Arizona?
Yeah,
Because he
obviously,
fight
that's
for a chance.
Or how
again.
about someone like Jim Caldwell?
Yeah.
He's fine.
He was fine. Where are the Cardinals? Where have the Lions been without Jim Caldwell?
Well, until Dan Campbell came in.
Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's the knock I have against Dan Campbell is he says he doesn't strategize well. I'm gonna keep that noted. He's bought himself another year, where he's not at gathering the kindling stage yet.
Look, I'll say this. Let me say this about Caldwell.
We're gathering the kindling.
Yeah, I'll say this about Caldwell though. It's like I view him in the same vein I view as Doug Peterson, just someone to just like stabilize a team. And I think there are some teams that could just use someone to stabilize them.
I think the Texans are the biggest one. They need stability.
Yeah, and honestly, as somebody who lives in Michigan, the main thing I remember about Caldwell is that he was great when it came to building teams up. He was just so bad at utilizing talent when they finally got over the hump, you know? Like, I can think of...
So basically a Doc Rivers, except maybe not as much of a choker.
Yeah, he's basically Doc Rivers without the choking reputation.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That's fair. I mean, the Cardinals, they'll probably trade DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's a stupid idea.
Well, they gotta get some value or something. I don't know.
He's still gonna be an elite player.
But he takes up $31 million next year in cap hit, so...
Well, yeah, well, that's why it feels like there's only three teams that can get him.
We've learned so much that the cap of the NFL is an imaginary line. The cap is not like it is in the NHL. Where the NHL, like the trade deadline, I think it's going to be a very quiet one because cap space is it's an impossible thing to wiggle around.
You're injured to shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But even then, there's limited LTIR space now.
By the way, Sacramento scores. Yay.
I think, at the end of the day, I think the Cardinals need a coach that needs to look at Kyler Murray and go, "You're the quarterback. You're the leader of this team. There's a time and a place to play Call of Duty. There is. But right now in the football seasons, we need you head on focus. It's like that student. It's like a student in high school. That man, if only they applied themselves, would they be a straight A student? It's like the same. It's like, you know that saying, if only you applied yourself, you would be a straight A student. Mm-hmm. If you applied yourself to your studies,
but lazy,
you would be a straight A student. They need that kind of coach to tell Kyler, and they need that kind of action from him. Because yes, he's a top 10 quarterback, but he needs to apply himself. And if he's not going to apply himself to it, that's the one guy I would get rid of in Arizona. If he's not gonna, put the time and effort for your team, why is he still here? Trade him. Hell, put him on waivers, unconditional waivers. If he's not going to be a fit on your football team, cut ties with him now. I'm serious. Why would you want to work with that headache? With a person that's not going to apply himself to the NFL. The NFL, there's so much game prep that goes into every single game. That's why the NFL is one of those sports where every game matters. Especially with extended seating. Every game matters for about 75% of football teams till the very end. And if someone like Kyler Murray isn't going to be there for 18 weeks, why is he still here?
Anyway, Card, Anyway, Cardinals, you are who we thought you were. Get out of my office. See you next year.
We'll see you next year. I don't want to see you next year. Get back to your studies.
Have fun finishing fourth in the NFC West again, because we know for sure you ain't going past the Niners, Seahawks, and Rams.
This is a student here. We're not gonna talk down to a student here.
What are you? You know?
Come
just
on,
like
we're not Republicans.
Just being like, fuck them kids.
All right, focus on your studies. You've got an exam next year to study for. I want you to ace it. Get back to your studies. I want you to apply yourself now. Start applying yourself to your studies. Get out.
I want you to get into a good college, Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona.
I don't want you to,
but you know, there's some.
Hey, you know, University of Arizona is great if you want to drink.
Just put the Call of Duty down for now, Arizona.
Enjoy your COD while it lasts, but if I'm you, Kyler, I would start studying for your Week 4 opponents. I'd start studying for your Week 4 opponents. I'd start studying for all your matches, all your teams, because one of them's gonna be the team that you're gonna play against when you come back. Start studying.
Yeah, and by the way, let me just say this: don't apply if you're gonna apply anywhere. Do not apply to University of Phoenix.
Ooh. Oh.
Last point I want to make about do you want to know what's the worst team you never want to play Week 1? It's the Baltimore Ravens. Do you want to know why? Because Jim Harbaugh, the second he gets his Week 1 opponent, he's already scheming up schemes.
John Harbaugh, by the way.
Oh, Sean. Whatever Harbaugh is there, Baltimore. He's studying his ass off for his Week 1 opponent. They always do well in the early week because they prepare well. And especially a lot of defensive coordinators, they're going to be looking at the San Francisco 49ers, and they're going to figure out how they can beat that offense because their plug-and-play quarterback system is working out amazingly. And there are going to be guys that are going to be dissecting.
Purdy is just the GOAT. Purdy is the GOAT.
But, like, teams don't have much footage on him now. They're going to have a full off-season to study the guy. And the thing that was one weakness is get in front of his face. He's going to make mistakes. Force him to throw the ball more than 10 yards. He tends to struggle. He had a lot of over-the-field middle passes that were not hitting his targets this game. And then he went underneath and started hitting guys. And he let the playmakers make big plays. If you can mitigate that, that's how you stop the Niners. But no one has figured it out yet. So I wish teams good luck. But you start studying now, Kyler. Start dissecting defenses while you're recovering, and I hope for a speedy recovery.
Alright.
Alright. Now we've got some games to preview. We're gonna make it much more quicker than we're gonna make it quick. Lightning fast. We're gonna spend 3 minutes on it. First, we got the Bills and the team that's gonna get slaughtered by the Bills. Although from what I saw today, I'm gonna give the Dolphins maybe a slight benefit of the doubt.
Well, my name is Skylar Thompson, yo. I play for the Miami Dolphins, yo.
The one thing this should be an obvious one. This should be Buffalo all the way.
Yeah, it's Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo's gonna smash the Dolphins for a table.
Yeah, they're gonna smash it, Miami right into a table.
Yeah.
Kids, you better invest in furniture because the Bills Mafia is gonna buy a lot of it.
Well, especially the IKEA stuff because that breaks really easy.
Hey.
I do think Buffalo should be able to just win like 30-0. They're favored by like 13.5 points.
You saw how they slaughtered New England last year, right?
I do. But like,
yeah.
I saw the chaos of today, and I'm like, well.
Speaking of chaos, our next matchup should probably be the most chaotic of the wild card.
It is. But anyways,
Vikings-
let's get to picks. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I
Bills.
said Bills already. Bills.
Bills.
Bills. Yeah.
Bills. Anyway, probably the most chaotic game of the weekend. I'm Vikings Giants, which both of these teams have been just like insane. Like, what the fuck are these two even doing? Kind of teams. Like, they're like the freeform jazz of the NFL. Like, you know, Kirk Cousins is lining up under the wrong guy while Daniel Jones, you know, is like.
The $1 million question I have is, how much would you say that the NFC is just that bad versus, or is it just that maybe these good teams are actually good? But
Maybe a
the
mix of
Vikings
both.
are in with the -5-point differential.
Shut up, nerd! Your nerd team lost.
Hey, I said we were gonna lose to the Niners.
No, the LA Chargers are the nerd team. Sorry, I didn't make that clear.
I said.
they're the-
I'm not sold on the. Here's the thing. I've been going back and forth on this game. I've been back and forth. I'm not 100% sure who's winning this game.
Same. I'm kind of flipping a coin at this point.
I'm very conflicted because. You know, I'm not sold on the Vikings, but just as I'm not sold on the Giants. Even though Brian Dable willed the practice squad team to the playoffs.
I'm obviously I have to pick the Vikings because, you know, I'm a Vikings fan, and also because everybody on Fox Sports is like, oh, the Vikings don't even stand a chance.
No, it's...
Well, yeah, I would not say it.
No. Well, they're not wrong either, because all the Giants need to do is go up to a 17-0 lead and they've won this game. They're not the Colts.
All the Colts that.
This is not the Colts, though. This isn't Jeff Saturday coaching under the opposing team. This is Brian
Also,
Dable.
the Washington
Who
Commanders.
thought the Giants were going to make the playoffs this year? Nobody.
I did. I
Oh.
thought they were going to win the NFC East.
Hold up, let me. Oh, that's what I was
All
wondering.
right.
Receipts.
All right. So my
I
thoughts on
do,
this game.
I got receipts. I got receipts, motherfucker.
Okay.
I do. Okay, I do. Let me look.
Anyways, while Luke is looking, my thoughts on the game is that, you know, the Vikings versus the Giants, whoever loses is the one who's gonna fuck up first. It's all about, you know, executing, and whoever makes the first mistakes or whoever makes more mistakes, they're gonna be the one to lose, because, you know, these teams, you know, they're teams of chaos, and once one team gets momentum or one team figures out another team's weakness,
Oh shit.
game over.
All
That being
hail
said-
chaos.
Well, the Spencer, you're the only team that put the Giants in the playoffs. I had the Giants in the tank bowl. NRG had him in the tank bowl. Gage had him in the tank bowl. Aiden had him in the tank bowl. Yosko had him in the tank bowl. Ishio had them in the tank bowl. OKC Jake had him in the tank bowl.
And that's why I feel confident.
My
By
friend
saying the
Jacob
Vikings are
had
gonna
them in the
win.
tank bowl. Late Bird had him in his tank bowl predictions. Nobody thought this team was going to be good this year.
And I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who put the Broncos in the tank bowl.
No, Jacob put him in the tank bowl.
Oh.
No, he
never mind.
didn't. I
But
thought he did. I thought
I am
he
a
did.
I am a wizard.
Yeah.
Thanks
You
for
got
going
exactly
there,
on the
Paul.
spot too. We're gonna be going over our tank bowl predictions. We're gonna be going over our.
So I'll give my thoughts on this game. I'll give my thoughts on this game. Giants Vikings. It's gonna be close. I think
Oh, yeah.
I would expect it to be close. It should be a close game. But I'm leaning the Giants for two reasons. Number one, they're getting guys back on defense, and that's gonna be huge. Guys like Adoree Jackson, getting him back, that's massive. And number two, it's just like I can't really trust them at this time, but like especially at the 4 p.m. Eastern times, the Vikings have been terrible at those times. Like for some reason, whenever they play at those times, they have sucked ass this season.
Oh, I should mention the Vikings are getting some guys back too, including center Garrett Bradbury,
Yeah.
Brian
Yeah,
Asamoah.
but your 1 p.m. game time slot has been horrible. You do have your one win against the Packers week 1, but that's the Packers in week 1.
Yeah, it's just I'm just leaning. It's gonna be close. It will probably be chaotic, but I'm gonna lean the Giants.
I'm just hoping this game
one
is real
thing,
silly and also
it's-
Vikings win.
The Giants are going to lose a close game, or the Vikings are getting blown out. Those are the two outcomes. Because the Vikings have lost by more. They've not lost by more than one score this year. It is
11-0
always
in one-score games.
they have been blown out. This whole. Whenever they lose, they're blown out.
Which is
Whenever they
honestly
lose,
a relief from last.
they're
Honestly, a relief from last year. I'm just gonna say it.
So it's the playoffs. The script writers are going to be working overtime again.
You mind if I offer a few words on the Vikings? Like, even if we don't.
If you don't win, you move. I'd start moving on from Kirk Cousins.
I'm just gonna say it. I think it's been a great year for Minnesota. Certainly exceeded my expectations, and I really think they certainly proved me wrong by having Kevin O'Connell be the head coach. I did not think that was gonna work out, but here we are. Just obviously, I think we have something there. Just need to make a few. Honestly, I think we just need to make a few minor tweaks, but obviously if they don't win the playoff game, moving on from Kirk Cousins does need to be on the table, but that's if we lose. If we win, I certainly want to see a little bit more out of him.
Yeah.
And of course, if we win the Super Bowl, I'm like, I'm building a statue to him in my
I think I'm gonna go Vikings.
Same. I'm gonna go
Nervously
Vikings.
Said.
Skull Vikings, baby.
All right, good
I
Vikings,
think
one Giants.
I think I'm gonna go Vikings.
Welcome to the
It's Daniel Jones' first playoff game. Same with Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of firsts. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be probably the best playoff game we're gonna get. But I think at the end of the day, it's Daniel Jones is still limited as a quarterback. They still don't have wide receivers. All the Vikings need to do is stop the run, and if they can manage to do that, they'll be fine. Still gonna be close,
Right.
but force Daniel Jones to throw the ball. You've played them
Yeah.
already. I think it helps that it's gonna be in the same stadium. We're gonna be in for a treat. I think we're gonna be in for a treat. Not a classic,
A banger.
but I think we're in for a treat.
It's gonna be a banger. Anyway, moving on to the less exciting playoff games.
We got Lamar Jackson, who's been ruled out.
We got some guy versus the Bengals.
Yep.
Okay,
Unless the Ravens defense basically turns into the 2000 Ravens, the Bengals are not losing this game. They're not losing.
This is the easiest prediction I've made. Bengals. Whether Lamar returns or not doesn't really matter. All that matters is how big the margin is gonna be.
Cincinnati Bengals win, and
This
Hoopin is gonna be screaming so hard.
This is gonna be classic AFC North football. Jesse.
Oh, somebody is probably gonna be injured. I hate making that prediction, but somebody is probably gonna get injured in this game, and my guess is it's probably gonna be Jamar. And Bart Scott will say something stupid about it. By the way, fuck you, Bart Scott.
I think it's gonna be an ugly game of football. I don't know why NBC wanted this game and not, Jaguars and Chargers, which is no, they had Jaguars and Chargers. But
yeah, they literally had Jaguars and Chargers.
But
yeah,
why
they
not?
did.
They did. I know they did. It was so nice to see Al Michaels back in NBC. He belongs at NBC, honestly. I mean,
and him and hot take, him and Dungy work way better than him and Collinsworth.
Yeah, they'll trade you Collinsworth and Tirico, because I think Tirico should get a primetime slot. But just there's something special about whenever Al Michaels does a primetime game. But it was good to see him back in NBC. This game is gonna be so ugly. I think it's gonna be a 13-10 Bengals win.
Yeah, I can't wait for Chris Collinsworth to say something stupid like, "Oh, I tell you, that quarterback, he's got so much poise for only being there for a few games," as they get blown out 27-3.
Interesting.
Okay, but we're all picking Bengals.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Next
Sorry,
game. The Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The giant asteroid. I'm rooting for the giant asteroid.
Same. Asteroid.
Here's how I
okay.
see it.
The Cowboys
Okay.
are built like a good team. I'm worried, but I'm not that worried. Tom Brady. It took Tom Brady until week 17 to finally unleash the beast. It took him a long time. A very long time. And if Tom Brady is very rough to start and the Cowboys don't capitalize, not only are we in for a rough game, but we're in for a game in where Tom Brady fucking moves on to the next round.
And I see the Buccaneers moving on to the next round because, this Cowboys team, I'm actually getting a lot of Paper Tiger vibes where, they you said they're built like a good team, but I don't think they are one necessarily, they have
Say this.
the tools, but I think Mike McCarthy is not a good enough coach to make them a good
I think
team.
Mike McCarthy's fine. It's, is Dak Prescott gonna let the run game do its thing, or does he want to play hero ball?
Let me say this. Here's how I see it. Do the Cowboys have more talent than the Bucks? Yes. Should the Cowboys beat the Bucks on paper? Yes. Do I have the Cowboys beating the Bucks? No, because the Cowboys have two fathers, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. And guess what? The other father's coming home this week for the Cowboys.
Eddie's home, baby.
Daddy's home.
Alright, so I'm gonna go a different direction. A lot of people think Brady's gonna pull off some Brady bullshit and will the Buccaneers to a victory over the paper tiger Cowboys. That's actually a good argument, but at the same time, I just think this Buccaneers team, well, unlike in previous seasons, the O-line's decimated. When I watched the Buccaneers versus the Niners live, I was wondering how many mistakes is Donovan Smith gonna make. And the defense, well, there's some guys coming back. It hasn't been the Bucs defense of old, and Brady, he's getting older. So well, the Cowboys are they have one of the most controversial and one of the most controversial coaches in the league, one of the biggest choking coaches in the league. I don't know. They might seem to have the high-end talent to overcome adversity, and as long as Dak doesn't screw up, as long as McCarthy doesn't do a McCarthy, they might be able to send Brady to a retirement home for good. Who
I
knows?
think you're asking a lot
I'm
of
gonna believe he's going to retirement. As soon as pigs fly. It's not gonna happen. Not until.
Look, I would say this though, like in terms of Cowboys, I already said the Bucks are gonna win, but if the Cowboys, if they have any chance of winning, I mean, obviously, I have faith in their defense to do what they gotta do. I'm not worried about the defense. It's just after last week, I'm very concerned about their offense because it's basically their offense is basic enough that you can tell, okay, we just stopped the run. They are not doing shit unless Dak, at least like they're not doing shit with how Dak's been looking.
All I'm gonna say is this: whoever goes past this game is gonna get smothered by the Eagles in the next round.
Unless the Giants win.
Oh yeah, then they're gonna get smothered by the Niners.
Yeah, it's Eagles-Niners conference championship no matter what. Because the NFC is bad this year.
Skull!
The NFC is... You're getting blown out by the Niners, Spencer. You're getting blown out by the Niners. Look, come on.
Luke,
Any
don't
given
jinx it.
Saturday,
You almost
Skull,
jinxed
baby,
today.
Skull.
Hey, I did, but I was still right. You still crushed us at the end.
I'm gonna keep coping until the pain stops.
Cowboys. I gotta go Dallas. I gotta go Dallas. There's no way in hell that Dallas is gonna... If Dallas loses... It's another classic Jerry Jones moment where it's what the Cowboys have always needed. They've needed a coach to tell Jerry to fuck off. That's what the Cowboys desperately need. And I'm hearing from insiders there's going to be massive repercussions if Mike McCarthy can't get them past this round.
Also, keep in mind they haven't won a road playoff game since 1993.
Hey, all good things come to an... I think it's going to be Cowboys. They should take care of business on Monday night. But, I bet Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are so happy that they get to announce a fucking Cowboys game. We got away from this when we wanted to get away from this when we signed with ESPN.
No, they fucking love the Cowboys, dude. Like, almost as much as they love Rodgers, but I digress.
It's gonna be an interesting game to say that. I don't think it's gonna be ugly. We're gonna find out if it's gonna be ugly real quick though.
It's gonna be ugly because Tom Brady is ugly. I'm sorry, but his face is fucked.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a
What's
game.
wrong with your
It's gonna be a
face?
game.
It's gonna be a game. I don't know what else to say, but
What are the chances, though? What are the chances we get a Tom Brady winning drive, though?
Pretty
very
good.
high.
Good, yeah.
Very, very plausible.
Equally high as the chances of Donovan Smith fucking up that said game-winning drive.
We'll see what happens, but we should be in for an interesting game. Hopefully, this game is one of the boring ones, but given how the script writers are already starting to mastercraft their scripts already, yeah, I wouldn't. I'd expect all the chaos to happen in these games.
Dear NFL scriptwriters, just one before I die, please.
I think the best thing to say is, hey, dear NFL scriptwriters, please no. You guys work so well. Can we have like a boring, predictable one? Then just unleash all the drama for the AFC Conference Championship. Just make it predictable. There's three games that you can easily make as chaotic as possible. Bills and Bengals, the winner of the Bills and Bengals versus the Chiefs, and the Niners and Eagles. Please. Please, I'm begging you. If not, well, oh well, we have more sickos things to talk about.
Yeah, like the USFL or the XFL or
Oh, I can't wait. I have
CFL.
several ideas what we're going to do for the XFLs. We're probably going to do a couple watch-alongs.
Oh, how exciting.
Yeah! Probably the Sunday night ones.
Yeah, probably good.
Probably Sunday night ones. Because that's hopefully nothing too important in basketball or NHL's happening. NHL's usually Saturdays. So, yeah. I can't wait, but this has been all for the Untitled Sickos cast. I think next week we're going to look at all the group's predictions and we're going to grade them based on how right or wrong they are. Who had the most scorching hot takes to home run out of the parks. I can't wait. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah.